And utility companies have special incentives right now to help with the cost of having your home properly insulated, including a once-in-a-lifetime rebate from Puget Sound Energy. So if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yes, they will cover up to 95% of the cost. And if you're anything like me, you love the idea of somebody else paying to improve your home, add value to it, and save you money along the way. How good does that sound? Don't wait. Call Crawl Pros to learn what's going on behind that crawl space and attic hatch for free, and then what energy rebates you're eligible for. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
You've seen the headlines. Budget crisis, government emergency, billions of dollars short. No, not the federal government. It's happening here in Washington state. State tax revenues are at record highs. Over the next 4 years, tax revenue is on pace to grow by $10 billion. But current spending will outpace that revenue growth by $12 billion. Want to learn more about the growth of state taxes and spending over the last decade? Visit budgetbreakdown.org.
Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings, departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Kathan. Sharp reaction at a cabinet meeting from President Trump after the government reported the economy shrank in the first 3 months of the year.
That's Biden. That's not Trump.
CBS's Weijia Jiang.
He is blaming his predecessor, President Biden, for this. He says that this is Biden's stock market, not Trump's. I didn't take over until January 20th. Tariffs will soon start kicking in, and companies are starting to move into the USA in record numbers.
A separate report shows inflation cooling a bit. March prices 2.3% higher than 1 year ago. With inflation and tariffs on the minds of a lot of people, there are signs of an impact.
Compared to February and March of last year, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority says the number of tourists are down more than 11% and nearly 8%. CEO Steve Hill.
We're starting to see things like airline bookings and future hotel bookings starting to drop.
The report cites a backlash from travelers upset with U.S. tariffs against Canada and some European nations. Allison Key, CBS News.
In Vermont, supporters were there to greet Mohsen Madawi as he was released from custody today. The Palestinian man arrested by ICE agents earlier this month at his U.S. citizenship hearing. The U.S. Supreme Court's hearing arguments in the battle in Oklahoma over plans for a taxpayer-funded religious charter school. Legal analyst Jessica Levinson.
Here we have, in Oklahoma, people who want to set up the nation's first online Catholic school that would be a charter school, direct federal funding. And the question is, does that violate the Establishment Clause, or does not allowing that actually violate some people's free exercise clause rights? It's a real tension between those two clauses.
Ukrainian officials say they are poised to sign a deal that would give the U.S. access to its valuable rare minerals in the hopes of ensuring continued American support for the war against Russia. CBS's Michael Wallace tells us President Trump is threatening legal action against the New York Times over how it's covered his battle with a major media company.
Trump has already sued Paramount, the parent company of CBS, accusing 60 Minutes of deceptively editing an interview with his Democratic opponent Kamala Harris last year. In a social media post today, Trump says he is considering going after the New York Times for tortious interference because the Times has quoted legal experts who believe the president's case against Paramount is baseless.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 219 points. NASDAQ is down 222. The S&P is off 50. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Is it the end of free books from Dolly Parton? That's one of the stories coming up. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, in Seattle, a crash is blocking a lane on State Route 522 westbound at I-5. You are backed up in the Roosevelt neighborhood. A crash is blocking a lane on I-90 westbound near Island Crest Way. You're slow from Mercer Island to I-5. Travel time Renton to Seattle, half an hour. That's 5 longer than usual. Traffic brought to you by Washington 811. If you're digging in your yard, you're legally required to call 811 to avoid damaging utility lines. Call or go to digsafewad.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. We start with a puppy rescue near Auburn. KIRO 7 TV Samantha Lomibao has more.
3 puppies, expected to be 4 to 5 month old coonhound mixes, were picked up in unincorporated Auburn on Monday and Tuesday. Their muzzles are puffed up like a balloon. Sergeant Rebecca Smokoska with Regional Animal Services believes their mouths may have been bound shut with tape or a strap.
Unfortunately, these puppies are having quite a bit of pus coming out of their mouths.
Besides the swelling, she says these puppies seem to be in good health.
Authorities want to find the dog's owner. We've put photos of the puppies at mynorthwest.com. Contact Regional Animal Services if you can help. The Pierce County Sheriff's Office is investigating its 12th homicide of the year. Deputies say they booked a 16-year-old Tacoma area boy for second-degree murder. The boy said he intervened in a fight between his mother and her boyfriend. The boyfriend was stabbed to death. The 16-year-old was booked into Raymond Hall. A new report shows there was a 41% drop in the amount of gunfire in King County in the first quarter of the year compared to the same time last year.
King County Prosecuting Attorney Lisa Mannion says crime is down across the board, but youth gun violence is still a challenge.
Nearly 12% of shooting victims were age 17 or younger. The largest group of gun violence perpetrators are in the 18 to 24-year-old range.
53% of all shots fired happened in the city of Seattle. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
More than 120,000 young kids in our state may stop getting free books as part of the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. She was in Washington State 2 years ago promoting the program.
Our slogan at the Imagination Library is do more, care more, be more.
The program is funded by the Dollywood Foundation and local dollars, but the state did not include money for it in the budget that just passed. King County voters will decide on a $1.4 billion parks levy this August. Money raised would pay for parks, trails, the zoo, and the aquarium. The Seattle Times crunched the numbers. It found that a homeowner with an $844,000 house would pay about $200 per year. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Increasing sunshine today with highs in the low 60s. It's 46 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Wednesday, April 30th. Tomorrow, Ursula, it's May 1st. This year flying by. The month of April flew by. Good morning, Ursula.
You know, we say that every single day. And what do you think it is? I think it's because as we get older, time just flies. Right? Yep. Time just flies. And my niece turned 31 yesterday, and I said something, and my sister was like, oh, that was really profound. I said, man, it feels like it was yesterday, but it really wasn't. And I said, no, for sure. I remember 31 years ago as if it were just yesterday. Facts. It's flying on by.
Same. Never thought I would be able to do something like that. Now, Ursula, go ahead and tell us what's going on today, but I do have a question for you. Go
okay.
ahead.
In his own words, I want you to hear, coming up at 9:30, I want you to hear one of the best interviews I believe has ever been done with President Trump.
Okay.
And I'll explain why. Mm-hmm. But this, you've got to hear this, and I want you to hear the president's own words on some of these questions. Our text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO.
Also coming up on the show today at 10 o'clock, 10:10 to be exact, Pierce County Executive Ryan Mello will be joining the show. We got all kinds of questions to ask him. Ursula, we don't have time for my question of the day for you. We got to get to it. Ursula's top stories of the day brought to you by Bath Fitter, Northwest.
And new this morning, the U.S. economy shrank at a 0.3% annual pace in the first quarter, the first drop in 3 years. The economy slowed because of a surge in imports as companies scramble to bring in foreign goods before President Trump impose those massive tariffs. All of this has implications for our local ports. We talked about this yesterday because there are claims that the lack of container ships has made the Port of Seattle a ghost town. And while there is a visible change on the waterfront, we want to drill down even further because, as we have told you over and over again, it is important for us on the Gee and Ursula Show to be accurate. And our reporter Luke Ducey joins us again. I didn't realize you drive by the Seattle waterfront every morning.
I do, every morning and every afternoon.
Okay,
so at least 2 times a day. And I look down at those ports and I can see it myself. I see the changes, and I think a lot of people do. You know, it is fair to say, though, that different people are going to have a different look at the ports in Tacoma and Seattle, and they're going to have different reactions as to whether the ports look busy or not. According to port commissioners in Tacoma and Seattle, they tell us both are seeing fewer shipments and fewer containers coming in. Here's Commissioner Ryan Calkins.
Data is starting to back up our kind of perceptions. I drive my son over to West Seattle twice a week to play basketball, and every time I go over the West Seattle Bridge, I look down and see how many vessels are at each of our major terminals, and yeah, I'm seeing it too.
So in March, the Port of Seattle, however, saw an 18% increase in volume. So they were really busy last month. Commissioners tell us that's because Chinese companies were sending as much cargo as they could to U.S. ports before the tariffs went into effect. Since then, shipping volumes have gone down, and commissioners tell me the number of blank sailings, which are canceled sailings, have increased. And now Calkins tells us for the next 3 months, they are forecasting shipping volumes will go down 25% per month.
If nothing changes, it's going to get a lot worse. We're going to see empty store shelves.
And mostly, he says, that's like more affordable clothing. That's where you're really going to see impact, especially with back to school coming up. You know, you're going to see less clothing on the shelves. And I'll just add this too, just in today, making the headlines, the Port of Los Angeles, the largest port in the U.S., I mean, they have like 43 miles of oceanfront property there. They have announced they are forecasting a 35% drop starting next week in volumes because of reduced imports from China.
And by the way, thank you, Luke Ducey, for coming in here again to do this. And Ursula, maybe you can explain better why Luke is back in here today.
Because we're seeing all these fake news, and I mean, that is, quite frankly, as a longtime journalist, Luke, I know you feel the same way. It's infuriating because it does nobody good to drum up fake news. I mean, why would we want to celebrate a drop of ships at the Port of Seattle or the Port of Tacoma?
I live here. I live in Seattle. I don't want to see this happen. I'm a resident just like everyone else. I have feelings like everyone else. I want to go to the store and buy clothes, but, you know, I'm a reporter. So according to the people we ask the questions of, the port commissioners, the people who manage this, they say what we thought was going to happen is actually happening right now.
Yeah, and there was a blip again, and the reason there was a blip as far as an increase briefly was because everyone was scrambling to get these things in before these tariffs took effect. Luke, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, I want to share other encouraging news.
Okay.
This is news about the fight against gun violence in King County. There were fewer shots fired in the first quarter of this year compared to last year, and the trend is downward.
King County's shots fired report indicates 13 people were killed by gun violence, 47 were injured, and there were 278 shots fired in the first quarter. The majority of those shots fired happened in Seattle, followed closely by shots fired in the South End, although shots fired there are also down significantly. King County Prosecuting Attorney Lisa Mannion says
King County has just experienced the safest start to a new year that we've had in the past 5 years.
While crime is down across the board, youth-related gun violence continues to be a problem. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Well, Ursula, why is this happening? You're talking about, and you just said, a 41% reduction. And so I'm asking you and everybody listening right now, we've all talked about the shortage of law enforcement. We have talked about there seems to be a lack of accountability. We have talked about how judges aren't doing their jobs. All of the discussions have been talked about in King County. So my question to everyone is this, then why is there a 41% reduction with shooting victims over last year?
Well, a number of shots fired. So I think the easiest thing would be, okay, we were way too high in 2024. We're going in the right direction. There's still too many people dying. 13 people died from gun violence in King County, 47 others injured. We still have too much. But it's trending in the right direction for all the reasons that I think continuing to hammer on we need more accountability, continuing to hammer on we need more education, and we need to bolster law enforcement, give them the ability to do what they need to do. All these things are happening. But again, I think there's still this desire by some to say, we're not improving. This is not great, or people have just stopped reporting. I mean, these are actual figures that are positive. But again, I think it's still too much. And one of the things that she said is there are still too many young people committing crimes with guns.
No doubt. I'm going to say this. There's going to be a theme today. I'd argue that there are people here that have and use their platforms, people that are in charge of police unions. There are people that really would love to talk about what's happening bad in King County, what's happening bad within Seattle city limits. You see what I'm saying? And so what I'm doing is the same people that use their platform, even though they work downtown Seattle, the same people that use their platform to deduce what is happening, the positive things that are happening. You will notice today, there's going to be a theme. Anything good happening, they are upset about it, and they will talk about why it's happening, and not other than, hey, things are getting better. It hurts their platform when things are better. There are people that love for things to be bad, and I'm trying to point that out for you. But don't worry. Through the course of the show today, we're going to lay it out for you. We're going to show you in real time how people hate for progress to happen. It's like that one person in your family that they love you, but they don't want you to do well. And when you do well, they get upset about that because it makes them look in the mirror at themselves.
Their congratulations always has a congratulations. We still have a lot of work to do, but we do need to point out the good news. Immigration enforcement is the job of the federal government, and the Pierce County Council has just passed a resolution reaffirming state law which limits local authorities from taking part in those efforts. After a lengthy, spirited debate last night, the resolution passed by a 4-3 vote, with the Democrats on the council supporting it and the Republicans against it. Pierce County Executive Ryan Mello tells King 5 News this resolution makes it clear that county funds and personnel should not be used in ICE sweeps or surveillance programs.
It ensures that our employees are well trained and the public has trust that they can continue to come and seek the services, the critical services they expect from Pierce County every day. But
Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank doesn't believe state law is constitutional, and he's not going to enforce unconstitutional laws.
The sheriff's office is independent. I do not report to the executive or the council on how to run the sheriff's office.
And although he says ICE has not asked the Pierce County Sheriff's Office for help with any enforcement, he would want to assist, focusing on violent crimes and drug trafficking.
There are no to round them up and either bring them to justice here or deport them or both.
Now, I was going to say, Pierce County Executive Ryan Mello is going to join us in the 10 o'clock hour. Your thoughts?
Hey, Keith Swank, you made it a point to talk about how you have been voted in and how you don't answer to the county council. Okay. But what you will do, my boy, is follow the Keep Washington Working Act, which states that immigration enforcement is the job of federal government, right? And there will be a protection of laws that's in this state. So while you might not follow and agree with the council, you will be following the law. Unfortunately, Ursula, it's the same thing that's used. We were to go after violent offenders. We want to go after the gangsters. We want to go after...
Does anyone disagree with that, by the way? Does anyone disagree with going after the actual criminal and violent criminals?
No, nobody disagrees with that. But what they do is the same thing that has been done for years. these people act like it is only undocumented immigrants that commit the crime, the same way they used to say it's only black people that commit the crime. Nothing is new under the sun, Ursula. It is the same script that they use. Keith Swank is no different than the sheriffs and the county sheriffs back in the 50s and 60s. No different. It's the same script.
So here's my question, because you said he is going to have to follow state law. What he's saying is he doesn't want to. He thinks it's unconstitutional. He wants the U.S. Supreme Court to take on the Keep Washington Working Act.
He wants them to take on. But until the Supreme Court changes things, you will follow the law, my boy.
Okay, we'll see.
Oh, wait. Are you trying to say that there's a theme here? Are you trying to say, I wonder where they get that from, this whole idea of not listening and trying to follow the law? Because folks used to tell me, you just obey. You just comply. Follow the law. It's weird how they pick and choose when they want to follow the law, huh?
Well, since you're on that theme, in Franklin County, Sheriff Jim Raymond is refusing to follow a judge's order and is taking control, or has taken control, of weapons and ammo from the county jail. After 2 failed state audits, the county commission voted to take away the responsibility of the jail and courthouse from the sheriff, and a judge issued a temporary restraining order to keep all the weapons at the jail, but Sheriff Raymond refused to follow that order.
I went into the jail this morning and recovered all my weapons. The new director of the jail, I'm not sure how he did, but he stored them all in a closet.
Now, Commissioner Brian Dansel says it is dangerous for the sheriff to defy a judge's order and to refuse to accept the results of those audits.
To defy what the state auditors find, and in fact to tell them that you're not going to listen to their findings and you're not going to put any controls in place, that's really dangerous.
And he tells Apple Valley News $2 million went missing under the sheriff's watch, and the county would have faced actions.
My lawyer to file a motion to vacate the temporary restraining order, a motion to hold the statute unconstitutional, and a motion for an order declaring the jail's belongings to the office of sheriff, and the Board of County Commissioners' actions to be nulled and void. I will win this case.
Hey, everybody, is there a theme here? Have you guys noticed lately in the last 101 days, there's this theme about not listening to any court orders? There's this thing, we have sheriffs saying that they want to do anything. I want people to be reminded, in this case, with Sheriff, I know y'all like the way I say Sheriff Jim Raymond, right? Sheriff Jim Raymond, I want to be clear. All of this is coming on the heels of a state audit that uncovered financial mismanagement.
20% of the budget.
Let me say that again.
2 million from 10 million.
Sheriff Jim Raymond was as a sheriff, there was a state audit that uncovered financial mismanagement in Ursula. Now he's saying he doesn't care what they say. Is there a theme?
You want to know, yes, but the kudos to the sheriff's deputies who work for him, who were like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're not going to defy the court order. And you know what he said? He said, this is a mutiny.
Yeah. Again,
I mean, just a reminder, courts are responsible for interpreting the law, making sure trials are done fairly, promoting justice, protecting against the arbitrary use of governmental power, stopping criminal behavior. And what is happening is that people are like, people in power, for some reason, are saying, who cares what the courts say?
What's going on with sheriffs these days? It's almost, watch this, Ursula. It's almost like they are above the law. Oh, I don't know. We just got to finish talking about 2 in a row, so not all sheriffs. I got to make sure I say that.
You know me.
Yeah, I know. Got to make sure he shows some love to the sheriffs.
No, you need to be accurate.
Hey, old sheriffs.
888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We invite you to...
Yeah.
Are you okay? You got a lot of energy today.
I do. Because there's a theme. Like, we are literally in a time where you have people that just want to defy things. Like they are, I'm going to make my own law. I don't agree with this law, so I'm not going to follow it. Like, imagine if we have a whole bunch of citizens walking around like that. Like, oh, okay, there's laws, but I don't agree with this, so I'm not going to follow them.
Yeah. Well, coming up next, you're going to hear it in his own words, this interview that I think it's a must watch. It is a must watch and a must listen. If you haven't, we're going to share excerpts of it coming up next.
Gee Ursula.
The Jake and Spike Show.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
There's a fire at the Cheesecake Factory.
Downtown.
They were already closing down that location. They had announced back in March. And I'm not suggesting this is what they did. Not at all. God bless them. Not in a million years. I love their club sandwich. This is an interesting coincidence.
I don't know, man, where there's smoke. I'm just saying.
Jake and Spike.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
On KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM. Watch the Jake and Spike Show live on YouTube.
For many years now, Heritage Homecraft has been making stunning kitchens for the folks at Puget Sound. Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. When we resurface your existing cabinet boxes, install custom-built cabinet doors, and tailored quartz countertops, it'll transform any old, outdated kitchen into the showpiece of your home as it ought to be. All done in about a week without the mess, hassle, time, and expense of a complete tear-out. Not a national chain, your new kitchen is designed, created, and installed by a team of dedicated craftspeople who live and work here in the Pacific Northwest. Have one of our professional representatives out for a free in-home consultation. We'll bring the showroom to you and leave you with an exact quote for your new kitchen. I promise you'll be amazed by the quality and transformation. Just ask any one of our thousands of satisfied customers. If you call today, there's still time to have your new kitchen installed before summer. Call today, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
It's time. The new phase of premium view lots at Natchez RV Resort is open. Don't miss your opportunity to get first pick. Ty, tell us about it.
Our new phase features incredible extra-large RV lots with amazing unobstructed views. And talk about privacy, nothing will be developed behind them. And these lots start at just $80,000.
Natchez RV Resort has 300 days of sunshine and year-round family fun. Pickleball, playground, dog park, miles of recreational trails. Plus, you have fishing, hunting, skiing, and golf nearby. And don't forget wine tasting. Yakima Valley has been voted the #1 best wine region in the U.S.
Natchez RV Resort also features a 4,300 square foot clubhouse with gourmet kitchen, great room, fitness center, showers, and laundry. Plus, the brand new saltwater swimming pool and hot tub are open and ready for you.
Get your perfect pick of Natchez RV Resort's premium view lots, starting at just $80,000. Reserve your showing now. 800-422-6009. 800-422-6009. NatchezRVResort.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock, because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Looking for the ultimate fun and dining experience? Come check out Nisqually Red Wind Casino, the South Sound's premier destination. Voted best casino, best hosts, best promotions, and best for fun. Players can always enjoy exciting monthly giveaways or get in on the action with specials and dining discounts at their casual or fine dining restaurants. Give them a shot and see why they're the best. Only at Nisqually Red Wind Casino. Your VIP here. Visit redwindcasino.com.
Announcing the newest, most beautiful senior living community around. It's the grand opening of Vineyard Park at North Creek Bothell, a Care Partners senior living community. Amanda here. Discover vibrant, independent, assisted living and memory care where seniors thrive with top-notch care, engaging activities, and a warm, welcoming environment. Visit carepartnersliving.com now to schedule a visit and be one of the first to call Vineyard Park at North Creek home. The grand opening of Vineyard Park at North Creek Bothell going on now. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
Jazz Alley welcomes the Joey Alexander Trio and special guest trumpeter Theo Croker. Live May 1st through May 4th, featuring Chris Funn on bass and Jonathan Barber on drums. Tickets at jazzalley.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Right now, have ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay zero down with zero interest and zero payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments in a dispute that could open the gates for public funding to go directly to religious schools. Oklahoma Attorney General's office saying,
teaching religion as truth in public schools is not allowed.
But supporters in the state want to establish a virtual Catholic charter school which would fully embrace the church's teachings. A Palestinian Columbia University student was today released by U.S. immigration authorities.
Our fight is a fight for love, is a fight for democracy, is a fight for humanity.
A judge ordered Mohsen Madawi's release. He's still facing possible deportation after participating in campus protests against Israel war in Gaza. At a rally in Michigan, President Trump spoke about the alleged foreign gang members who kidnapped a Burundian woman in January.
2 Venezuelan members of TDA, Strendiragua, were arrested in Washington state for kidnapping a 58-year-old woman driving a power drill through her hand.
They tried to get her financial information and eventually left her for dead. She did survive. The suspects were captured and are being transferred to a federal custody. Shoppers are sounding off at word Amazon won't be revealing how much tariffs are increasing the price of products they buy. More from KIRO 7 TV's Deborah Horn.
I think it's a great idea. That reaction among shoppers in Bellevue to the prospect of Amazon citing the reason for raising its prices on its low-cost site called Haul.
I thought it was a very good idea.
Maybe, but the plan, and Amazon insists it was never the plan, did not last after President Trump says he spoke to the tech giant's founder. Washington State Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal immediately cried foul.
Amazon caved.
This West Seattle shopper says,
I think that's a walk back.
Business shouldn't be conducted that way.
Uncertainty over tariffs actually caused the U.S. economy to shrink a bit in the first quarter. CBS's Kelly O'Grady explains.
What's driving this is actually imports. So that kind of counts against GDP. When you think about the overall growth of the economy, that gets subtracted. People got ahead of the tariff deadline. There was a surge in imports.
The government says the gross domestic product fell 0.3% January through March. And Wall Street's nervous about that. The Dow down 315 points, NASDAQ off 286. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Seattle, a crash is blocking a lane on State Route 522 westbound at I-5. Your backup is easing, though, in the Roosevelt neighborhood. A crash is blocking a lane on I-90 westbound near Island Crest Way. You are slow from Mercer Island to I-5. Travel time Brenton to Seattle is still about 5 minutes longer than typical. Traffic brought to you by 811. If you're digging in your yard, you are legally required to call 811 to avoid damaging utility lines. Call or go to digsafewad.com. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Increasing sunshine today with highs in the low 60s. It's 49 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. Our text line is open for you, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO. And as he marks his first 100 days in office, President Trump gave an exclusive interview with ABC's Terry Moran, and it was one that you really need to watch in its entirety. During this interview, the president claimed credit for what he says are lower prices for gasoline and groceries, and he pointed specifically to eggs. And this was a wide-ranging interview, G. He was also asked about Elon Musk and Doge and all the savings there.
Did Doge go too far, too fast, too recklessly?
No, I think Doge has been, saved $150 billion. We saved, that's a lot of money. There's also a lot of things right now under investigation, which is going to increase that amount by a lot. That's a tremendous amount of money. There were some things where, when I heard about them, I put them back, as you know. There are things that I'm considering right now putting back, but overall we've saved hundreds of billions of dollars.
Well, the original promise was $2 trillion, went to $1 trillion, now to $150 billion, and heading south.
You don't know what it's going to be because we have things that are at a very high level that are being looked at right now. We also found tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse, as you know. We found a lot of fraud. There was a lot of fraud. Fraudulent things were taking place. And we ended that, and those people are going to be suffering because of it.
A legal note, fraud is a crime. There have been no referrals to the Justice Department on any.
Well, you don't know that, do you? How do you know that?
Have there been referrals to the? Are there criminal referrals?
How would you know that there were no referrals? I think there were referrals.
They generally. All right. There's been no investigation from the Justice Department.
How do you know that?
I'm asking you, sir.
No, you're not asking me. You made a statement. You're not.
Now I'm asking you.
That was a statement that you made. There had been.
I'm asking you.
Have there been? Yes, there have.
So there have been referrals for fraud from the working
Of course there have been. Take a look at some of these things that took place. Billions of dollars were given to people for no reason whatsoever.
So have you heard of any fraud referrals or charges or anyone being arrested for fraud?
There's been none. There's absolutely been none. But you guys know that, right? You guys know that everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. You guys do know that there's a CBS News report right now, despite all of Trump's promised cuts, the billions and billions and billions of dollars that he told you about. The United States spent $220 billion more in the first 100 days of this year than they did of last year, 2024. Now go ahead, dispute that. That's a fact. So you guys know billions and billions, and you know he does that as a talking point, and you guys fall hook, line, and sinker.
Also, Elon Musk says I've saved $160 billion. CBS News can only confirm 40% of those claims. And the Partnership for Public Service estimates Doge's actions will cost taxpayers $135 billion this fiscal year.
And, I think we're all looking for any kind of savings, but it seems like all those promises are nowhere close to what is actually happening. The math is not happening.
I just wonder when people going to quit wanting to get peed on their leg and folks telling them it's rain. When? Y'all okay with this dude lying to you all the time? He don't lie to me. Because I'm able to look and see, oh, that's a lie. That's a lie. Nobody was arrested for fraud. What has there been? By the way, text in. Maybe there have.
And yes,
maybe there has.
Yeah, so we're looking for that information. The other thing is he was talking about his immigration policies, and there has been a dramatic decrease in illegal crossings at the southern border, but he was asked about due process.
Now, but did we give them a hearing when they came in?
Well, the law requires that every single person who is going to be deported gets a hearing first.
Well,
do you acknowledge that?
I'll have to ask the lawyers about that. All I can say is this. If you're going to have 21 million people, and if we have to get a lot of them out because they're criminals, we're going to have to act fast. We can't. Do you think we can give 21 million trials? Let's say each trial takes 2 weeks. Is that what you want us to do?
The law is the law, sir. The law is the law, and you're
the law doesn't say anything about trials.
No, not trials. Hearings. I said
These
hearings.
people came in. They're not citizens. They came in illegally. They came into our country illegally.
And
we have to get them out.
There's a legal process for that.
I can't. Sure, and we follow the legal process. I can't have a trial, a major trial for every person that came in illegally.
Y'all voted for this. This is what people voted for. You voted for someone who doesn't understand due process. You voted for someone that says, well, 21 million? We can't have 21 million trials.
He also doesn't understand the difference between a trial
hearing and a hearing. Yeah.
Okay, but this is where it really went off, because he continues to insist that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is an MS-13 gang member. And so far, there is no evidence. But listen to this.
On his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshopped. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. I picked you, Terry. But you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
And you think it was Photoshop? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No,
but they're there
in
now.
your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
Well, we'll take a look at that.
You do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at that,
Why don't you just say, yes, he does, and, go on to something else?
It's contested.
The reason Terry Moran cannot say, yes, it's there, is because it's not there. There are the letters and the numbers are not there. Look at the pictures yourself. It was photoshopped. It was put on there as a suggestion that maybe those symbols that are on his hands mean that. But I mean, he's trying to badger and bully this reporter into saying something that is not factual.
This segment, this topic is a topic that makes all of us sad. You want to know why? Here's why. Because if you voted for that, you're now realizing that the dude is a liar right there. And if you didn't vote for it, you're asking yourself, how did America get in this situation? We are in a situation where our president literally lies constantly. And that doesn't put anybody in a good mood, because this is where we are, Ursula. We are in a situation where he doesn't understand due process. We're in a situation where he does not understand Photoshop, right? He literally, because of his lies, he is going down. Yes, MS-13 was on his hand, and he can't hear otherwise because they're just stuck. It's stuck with the lie, stuck with this. You got to just stay this way. And it's just heartbreaking that we are really in this situation. You know why we're in this situation? Because they voted for the black guy back in the day in Obama. That's why we're here.
Can you explain that to me? Like, because you said that, and you said it's heartbreaking to you that you think that these are all part of the repercussions of that?
When did Donald Trump come to power? When did he switch from apprentice over? When he lied about a birth certificate. That was the beginning. And we're still on that lie today. Some of y'all fell hook, line, and sinker. Oh, that's a lie. Obama wore a tan suit, and y'all went crazy about that. Look at where the bar is so damn low. This is our country right now. Coming up next, let's talk about Bill Belichick and put us in a better mood. We'll do that next. Gee and Ursula.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
While you're getting ready every morning, make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO News Radio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO News Radio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
Have you heard the saying, chuck in a truck? The guy running a roofing company out of his messy pickup? Well, here's the scary part. Washington doesn't require a test or experience to be a licensed roofer, and they definitely don't require a brick and mortar location. Chuck could be working out of his apartment with 0 employees, hiring random guys off the street. Yikes. And the SBA says 90% of roofers are out of business within 5 years. Jim here, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, where we do things right. We have a real location on Central Avenue in Kent and a team of 50 full-time roofing pros who actually know what they're doing. We're not some fly-by-night outfit. We've put down roots, or in our case, a cement foundation, so you'll always know where to find us. No disappearing acts, no cut corners, just top-quality work from people you can trust. That's RoofSmart. Come see for yourself, or call us at 206-487-4877, or visit us online at GetRoofSmart.com. That's 206-487-4877 or GetRoofSmart.com.
Nearly everyone wants to grow old in their own home. Yet, according to research conducted by Stanford University, 70% of Americans will not achieve this goal, despite having done a lot of retirement planning. Now, why does this happen? Hi, I'm Rajiv Nagaich, an elder law attorney who's been studying this phenomena for the last 20 plus years. The problem isn't the planning that you do. The problem is what you haven't been told. That's why retirement becomes a nightmare. Now, if you're wondering what you haven't been told, come to one of my retirement seminars this month. I'll shine the spotlight in all the dark corners so you can retire with confidence.
Join the free seminar in Federal Way on May 13th, Tacoma on May 15th, or Bellevue on May 17th. Register at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com. Or call 253-838-3454.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
For many years now, Heritage Homecraft has been making stunning kitchens for the folks of Puget Sound. Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. When we resurface your existing cabinet boxes, install custom-built cabinet doors, and tailored quartz countertops, it'll transform any old, outdated kitchen into the showpiece of your home as it ought to be. All done in about a week without the mess, hassle, time, and expense of a complete tear-out. Not a national chain, your new kitchen is designed, created, and installed by a team of dedicated craftspeople who live and work here in the Pacific Northwest. Have one of our professional representatives out for a free in-home consultation. We'll bring the showroom to you and leave you with an exact quote for your new kitchen. I promise you'll be amazed by the quality and transformation. Just ask any one of our thousands of satisfied customers. If you call today, there's still time to have your new kitchen installed before summer. Call today, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning to you. Coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, at the beginning of the 10 o'clock hour, we will have Pierce County Executive Ryan Mello here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Ursula, you did have some news about Bill Belichick.
Yeah, so yesterday we talked about that interview, which folks are saying it was a disastrous interview with CBS where Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, would keep interrupting him and basically seemed very controlling over what he could actually say. And when Bill Belichick was the head coach of the Patriots, he was known for addressing problems immediately, right? And moving folks before it became an even bigger problem. So one of his former players, Ted Johnson, is saying North Carolina, where Bill Belichick now coaches, needs to use a similar tactic. And he is claiming that he believes that Jordan Hudson, this 24-year-old girlfriend, has been embarrassing Bill. It's embarrassing for North Carolina. It makes people wonder whether this is a coach who even has what it takes now to run an operation and a team like UNC. Right. I don't know if that's going too far at this point.
The breakdown in his salary, I believe that there's like a $30 million salary or maybe guarantee, and I do think that North Carolina is going to get out of that sooner rather than later because this could probably set back their program for some years. I actually talked to someone who knows about what's happening at North Carolina, and they told me that there's a lot of regret around hiring Bill Belichick. I don't think anyone saw this coming and the way this is happening. You got to understand, this is going to be a leader of young men on a football team. Like it's one thing for us to talk about this. It's another for your players to talk about this. And the players are looking at the 24-year-old like, yo, she's our age. And to see our head coach on TV like
being
that?
Controlled
Come
like
on
that.
now. And he's on TV with a hole in his sweatshirt. Come on.
Well, and I was wondering, like, why did he agree to do this interview? But there's a book, right?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't there a book coming out? Yeah. So in any case, I don't know that I would necessarily say that. And I mean, could the college say, okay, yeah, we're going to change directions at this point?
Right.
No, they're going to have to find something else.
Sure.
Right?
They have to. Before we get to the next topic, a lot of people are right now weighing in. They're weighing in a lot on our last conversation that we had about Trump. And Ursula, you brought up that interview. And I noticed something. There was a lot of comments back to us that we were one-sided. And that we were one-sided and we had this one view. And I know that topic was triggering for some, whether you agree or disagree. But what does not continue to happen is what we talked about, him not knowing due process and understanding those things, him understanding, and we know in the CBS report that came out that $220 billion was spent more in the first 100 days than it was of last year this time. We haven't told one thing that can be discredited. Everything that we are saying. So if you don't like it, that's fine. But text us if you let us know if we say something that's not true.
It's the question of it's one-sided. it's one-sided. It's both-sided because you heard Trump himself. We're reacting. You're hearing Trump's words himself. So is there anything about what was wrong in that? Where were we incorrect? Because you know that we will make sure that we make a correction if we're incorrect.
Right. So I just wanted to bring that up, and I also wanted to say, because Chef, you have a very good topic that we're going to be saving for later on in the show, and we can get to then.
You know, actually, we had a great question from someone on our YouTube live stream. You can go check us out there. They asked, Ursula, what news sources do you use to find your news? And what I'm going to put up on our Facebook page is a giant list of the sites that we go through on pretty much a daily basis. Yes. So you can see exactly where we pull from. You know, there's right wing, left wing, middle
including
ground.
Fox News.
Yes.
And you know that I watch Fox News as well.
Yep.
And by the way, for those texting in, because for some reason, y'all got a lot of venom towards G. I want to remind you of something. Am I one-sided? Absolutely. I'm on the side of history, baby. I'm on the right side of history. That's where I am. So when my grandkids listen to their granddaddy in years, 50 years, 100 years to come, they will see that their grandfather was on the right side of history, along with his co-host, Ursula. Coming up next here on the Gee and Ursula Show, Ryan Mello, Pierce County executive, will join the show. We'll talk to him next. Gee and Ursula.
The John Curley Show, weekdays 3 to 7.
The guy that was a hitman for the Gambino. He's part of the Gambino family, yeah. And there was a motivational speaker. He's in this, talking to a bunch of, grade school kids. You're like, listen, you guys gonna be okay. Just don't be snitches. They get stitches.
John Curley, weekdays 3 to 7 on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM. Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic is your best plan for long-term well-being and personalized health care. Dr. Mixon, let me ask you a question. How long have some of your patients been working with you?
And we've got patients now that have been with us for over 20 years that are in their 90s, who came to us in their 60s. The grandparents now in their 90s are living independently. They're not on walkers, they're not on canes, they're not headed for nursing homes.
I meet people and they ask about, wow, you're in great shape, you have 12% body fat and stuff. What's the secret? I said, it's not a secret. Longevity Medical Clinic has been there for 25 years. There is no secret to the fact that if you make those small changes, you avoid the big, bad, horrible stuff that most of us just think, well, this is what's supposed to happen to me.
And if you're heading downhill and you don't change your direction, you're going to continue going downhill. And what we do at Longevity is we redirect you and we take you back up the hill.
So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
He flew fighter jets in 2 wars and taught you how to drive a car. He fed everyone on the block, but never shared his secret recipes. And every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect, in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
It's time. The new phase of premium view lots at Natchez RV Resort is open. Don't miss your opportunity to get first pick. Tig, tell us about it.
Our new phase features incredible extra-large RV lots with amazing unobstructed views. And talk about privacy, nothing will be developed behind them. And these lots start at just $80,000.
Natchez RV Resort has 300 days of sunshine and year-round family fun. Pickleball, playground, dog park, miles of recreational trails. Plus, you have fishing, hunting, skiing, and golf nearby. And don't forget wine tasting. Yakima Valley has been voted the #1 best wine region in the U.S.
Natchez RV Resort also features a 4,300 square